What if you woke up tomorrow and the internet was gone? Not slow, not censored, just gone. Imagine the silence. You reach for your phone, muscle memory kicking in before you're even fully awake. The screen glows, but it's a dead light. No notifications, no messages from friends in different time zones. The weather app is frozen on yesterday's forecast. You stumble out of bed and glance at the smart speaker on your nightstand. It's friendly, the light is dark. You ask it the time, but the only answer is the sound of your own voice echoing in the quiet room. Downstairs, the TV is a black mirror. The Wi-Fi router is a useless plastic brick. You feel it then, don't you? A faint prickle of anxiety in your chest. A sudden, chilling sense of isolation. It's not a disaster yet. It's just weird. A global power outage, maybe. But the lights are on. The water is running. The sun is coming up just like it always does. It's just the connection, the great invisible web that holds our entire world together has snapped. Hello, welcome back. Find a comfortable spot. Settle in. If you're new here, we'd like to take these big, frightening ideas and just sit with them for a while. We look at them from every angle, not with panic, but with a kind of quiet curiosity. There's no need to like or subscribe right now. We have all the time in the world. I wonder where you're listening to this. What time is it for you? Is the sun down? I've always found these stories feel a little more real in the dark. A little closer. We all have this secret romantic fantasy about a world without the internet. We imagine a kind of global digital detox. A return to simplicity. We picture ourselves reading more books, talking to our neighbors, looking up at the stars instead of down at our screens. A quiet, pastoral utopia. Let's be perfectly clear. It would be chaos. It would be, without exaggeration, the single greatest disaster in the history of human civilization. The horror wouldn't come from the sudden silence. The horror would come from what we would do to fill it. The first hour is just confusion. Your phone alarm doesn't go off. It syncs with a network that no longer exists. So you wake up late, in a rush, a little disoriented. You reach for your phone to check the notifications you missed. There are none. The weather app spins a little circle forever. Your messages won't send. Your newsfeed is a blank, white canvas. Your first thought isn't catastrophe. It's annoyance. You think the Wi-Fi must be down? You walk over to the router and perform the sacred ritual of our time. You unplug it, wait 10 seconds, and plug it back in. The little lights blink, desperately searching for a signal that isn't there. A ghost. You try your cellular data. Nothing. Now the annoyance turns it into a quiet, creeping anxiety. You look out the window and see other people doing the same thing. Standing on their balconies, holding their phones up to the sky, as if trying to find a better angle to catch a whisper from God for the first hour of the apocalypse. Humanity's unified, collective response would be to turn it off and on again. It's almost funny, isn't it? Our first instinct is to assume the universe has a customer support line. You decide to head out. You need coffee. The coffee shop on the corner is in a state of muted chaos. The credit card machines are dead. The point of sale system is a frozen screen. The barista, a kid who is far too young to remember a world before this, is trying to do math on a napkin. Cash only, he says, with a shrug. And here is the first tiny fracture in the foundation of your reality. You check your wallet, a few crumpled bills, maybe enough for a coffee, maybe not. When was the last time you actually used cash for anything significant? Admit it. You're probably thinking about your own wallet right now, aren't you? How much is in there? How long would it last? It's a chilling thought that your entire net worth, your ability to eat, to travel, to exist, has been reduced to a handful of paper and metal. This is the moment the real problem begins to surface. It's not about losing your social media. It's not about being bored. It's that the modern world is built on a ghost, a system of pure information. The money in your bank, it's not in a vault. It's an entry in a digital ledger, a ledger that is now completely inaccessible. Your mortgage, your car loan, your credit score, your entire economic identity. It's all gone, wiped clean, but it gets so much worse. The traffic lights at the intersection are starting to blink yellow. They're managed by a central system that optimizes traffic flow. That system is offline. The lights have defaulted to their failsafe mode. Soon, they'll go dark entirely. A few blocks away, the first shipments of the day are due at the grocery store, but the logistics network that manages them, the trucks, the warehouses, the inventory systems is blind. The truck driver, SCGPs, is dead. He has no idea where to go, and the store has no idea he has even coming. The food on the shelves is now a finite resource. This is the visceral reality of the great silence. The technology itself isn't the monster. The monster is the complexity we built on top of it. A beautiful, intricate, fragile tower of digital cards. And someone just pulled the bottom one out. The quiet of the morning is finally broken by a sound. A distant siren, then another, and another. They are getting closer. The fail-safes are starting to fail. The systems that manage the power grid, the water purification plants, the hospitals, they all rely on constant networked communication. The silence was the symptom. The fever is just beginning. And the first thing to burn one TB, our data. It will be the very thing we thought was most real, money. That thought that your money isn't real anymore. It's a contagious idea. And it spreads not at the speed of light, but at the speed of a human voice, thick with panic. The first people to truly understand are the ones who live their lives inside the machine. The day traders, the currency speculators, the high-frequency algorithms that have gone silent. For them, the world ended at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange was met with nothing, a silent screen, a dead ticker, a $1 trillion ghost town. But for you, for everyone on the street, the second phase begins. It's the transition from confusion to action. Primitive lizard brain action. You see it at the bank. A crowd is forming. Not a riot, not yet, just a thick, anxious clump of people. They're staring at the locked glass doors. Inside, you can see a loan bank manager talking on a landline phone a museum piece until an hour ago. He gestures helplessly. There's nothing he can do. The vault is on a time lock controlled by a corporate headquarters 1,000 miles away. The computers are bricks. The money, your money, is a number on a server that might as well be on the dark side of the moon. The ATMs are dark monuments to a forgotten god. And here we see the first terrible law of this new world emerge. The only thing of value is what you can physically hold in your hand. Your credit card is plastic. Your bank app is a useless icon. The number in your account is a memory, but the $20 bill in your pocket, that can buy you a gallon of gasoline. For now. This realization triggers the great unraveling. It starts at the gas stations. Suddenly, a full tank of fuel isn't a convenience. It's a strategic asset. It's the ability to move, to escape, to get to your loved ones, or to get away from everyone else. You see the lines forming, cars snaking down the block. The mood is tense. People are standing outside their cars, watching the pumps, counting. The price on the screen is frozen, a relic of a dead economy. It doesn't matter. People are offering the attendance cash to 3-5 times the listed price. The station manager, a man who 30 minutes ago was worried about his weekly sales report, is now the feudal lord of a small, volatile kingdom of refined petroleum. He's taking cash, and only cash, and he's making up the price as he goes. And nobody argues. They just pay. You see it in the grocery stores. The shelves are being stripped, not with the frantic panic of a hurricane warning, but with a quiet, desperate intensity. People are filling their carts with a strange, instinctual calculus of survival. Bottled water, canned goods, pasta, toilet paper, things that don't spoil, things that last. And a new social hierarchy is born in the canned goods aisle. The person with a full shopping cart looks at the person with an empty basket with a new kind of gaze. It's not pity, it's fear. The fear of the have-not. And the person with the empty basket looks back with a look you've never seen on a neighbor essy-facey before. It's a cold, calculating look. You realize you're not neighbors anymore. You're competitors. Think about it. Be honest. You're in that store. The last case of bottled water is on the shelf. A frail, elderly woman is reaching for it. What do? Do you help her? Or do you remember that you have a family to think about? That this is the last water you might see for days, weeks. The terrible truth is that our civilization, our politeness, our sense of community is a luxury item. It's predicated on the assumption that there will always be more on the shelves tomorrow. When that assumption is gone, we are all just a few missed meals away from becoming monsters. While the masses are focused on the tangible food, water, fula, second, invisible crises is unfolding, the information vacuum. There is no news. The television channels are showing emergency broadcasts, or more often, frozen images. The radio is a sea of static, punctuated by the occasional bewildered DJ playing music from a local hard drive. No one is in charge, or if they are, they have no way of telling you, is this a local problem? A national one? Is it unattacked? A solar flare? A glitched? Every rumor, no matter how outlandish, now carries the weight of possibility. The human mind abhors a vacuum, and we will fill it with our worst fears. The sun begins to set on the first day. The world has been running on momentum, on the stored energy of the old system. The trucks that were already on the road have completed their journeys. The power plants that were already running have continued to generate electricity. But that momentum is fading. As dusk settles, you're in your home. It's quiet. You've eaten a canned dinner. You're looking out the window. And then you see it across the city. A block of streetlights flickers. And then another, in the distance, the brilliant, unwavering lights of the downtown skyline seem to stutter. Just for a moment, like a dying star, the great silence was just the first stage. Now comes the great darkness. And with it, a cold that has nothing to do with the temperature. The darkness doesn't fall like a switch. It rolls. You see it first as a flicker in the distance, a tremor in the city's glowing heart, then a whole section of the skyline depart with the glass towers and the corporate logos, not into black, but into a deeper shade of the night. A void where a monument to human ambition used to be. It moves like a wave, a silent, unstoppable tsunami of nothing, and it's coming for you. You have just enough time for that cold not to form in your stomach. The moment you realize this isn't a local outage, this is a shutdown, a cascade failure, the grid is dying, then it hits your neighborhood. The streetlights outside your window don't just turn off, they expire. There's a faint electrical pop, an almost imperceptible hum that has been the background noise of your entire life, and it just stops. The silence that follows is absolute. It's a physical presence. It presses in on you. The hum of your refrigerator, the whine of your laptop charger, the low thrum of the buildings, ventilation all gone. The city's entire voice has been silenced. For the first time, you can hear the sound of your own blood rushing in your ears. Your apartment is plunged into a profound, disorienting blackness. Not the gentle dark of a bedroom at night, but a primal, subterranean darkness. You can't see the outline of the furniture. You can't see your own hand in front of your face. You have been rendered blind. This is the second great filter of the new world. The first was about what you owned. This one is about what you know. Not abstract knowledge, but ancient muscle memory knowledge. Where did you leave the candles? Do you even have any? Are the batteries in that old flashlight dead? For a few minutes, the city is a symphony of fumbling. The sound of dropped phones, of drawers being pulled open, of people shuffling through their own homes like strangers. Then, one by one, tiny points of light begin to appear in the windows across the street. A candle flame of phone screen's last dying glow, the focused beam of a flashlight. The city looks like a fallen constellation. It's almost beautiful. A brief, poetic moment before the real horror sets in. Because the darkness isn't the problem. The darkness is just a curtain. The real problem is what happens behind it. You go to the kitchen, you need a drink of water, you turn the tap, a weak, sputtering cough of air. a trickle of brown tinged water. And then nothing. The water pumps are electric. Of course they are. Everything is... You stand there over the sink with a profound and chilling realization. The countdown clock has started. You are now on a strict biological timeline. You have the water in your toilet tank. The ice in your freezer, which is now just a well-insulated box and whatever bottled drinks you managed to grab. After that, you are a dying animal. This is the moment the city's geography changes. It is no longer a grid of streets and addresses. It is now a map of resources. The parks with their ponds, public swimming pools, the rivers that cut through the downtown core, these are the new centers of civilization. And they will be... The sounds from outside begin to change. The initial quiet awe is replaced by something else. A car alarm, triggered by the power surge, begins to shriek into the void. It will not stop until its battery dies. A dog, left alone in an apartment, is barking a frantic, lonely rhythm. Then you hear the glass, a sharp, explosive shatter from a few streets over. It's a sound that is instantly, primally recognizable. It is the sound of a rule being broken, the sound of a lock being rendered irrelevant. Someone has just decided that the things behind that window are now theirs. The psychological horror of the blackout is not the absence of light, it's the absence of witness. In the dark, there are no cameras. There are no faces. There is no accountability. The thin veneer of social order, the shared fiction that we are all neighbors who follow the same rules, requires the lights to be on. You find yourself listening, every creak of your building, every distant shout, every siren that sputters to life and then dies, becomes a piece of a terrifying puzzle you are trying to solve. Is the danger getting closer? Are you safe? Admit it, you're thinking about your own front door right now. That simple lock. How much force would it really take? You're no longer a resident in a city. You are an occupant of a fragile container, hoping no one outside decides they want what's inside. The sounds get more specific. You hear shouting now, not angry, but desperate. And underneath it, a new sound, a rhythmic, heavy thud. It's the sound of a tool being used for a purpose it was not designed for. The sound of a door frame splintering. It's coming from your floor. The geometry of your world has shrunk from a planet to a city to a single dark room. And the monster isn't some abstract system failure anymore. It's just on the other side of your wall, and it's learning how to get in. The sound of splintering wood is shockingly intimate. It's not like in the movies. There's no dramatic crash. It's a series of wet, tearing sounds, like a giant beast chewing on a bone. It's followed by a heavy, final thud that you feel on the floor. A vibration that travels up your legs and settles in your chest. Then, silence. A silence that is so much worse than the noise. You hold your breath. Don't lie. You do. You make yourself a statue, trying to stop the sound of your own frantic heartbeat from betraying your existence. Every instinct is screaming at you to hide, to disappear, to become a part of the inanimate objects in your own home. The sound of your own heart is a betrayal. The creak of a floorboard under your weight is a death sentence. You are listening. You're hearing an almost dormant sense in a world of visual noise is now painfully, exquisitely sharp. You can hear everything. You hear the soft scuff of shoes on the hallway carpet. You hear the rustle of a backpack being opened. You hear the quiet, metallic clink of canned goods being dropped into it. They are not rampaging. They are shopping methodically, efficiently. This is not a crime of passion. It is an act of logistics. And that is 1,000 times more terrifying. This is the new social contract being written in real time on the other side of your wall. And the first article is simple. Possession is absolute. If you can hold it, it is yours. If you cannot defend it, it was never yours to begin with. You wonder who they are. Is it the quiet couple from 8C, the college kids from 6A, or strangers who have worked their way up the building floor by floor? It doesn't matter. They are no longer neighbors or strangers. They are a new classification of human. They are the ones who are willing to break the door. And you are not. That is the only meaningful distinction left between people. You hear them finish. A zipper is pulled. There's a muffled conversation, too low to make out the words, but the tone is calm. Businesslike, Then footsteps. Coming closer. They stop directly outside your door. The silence stretches. It's a weapon. They know you're in there. You've made no sound, but the absence of sound, the very stillness of your apartment, is its own kind of signal. It means there is something inside worth protecting. You have to make a decision right now. Do you make a noise? Do you call out, pretend you're armed, dangerous? Or do you stay perfectly still, a mouse hoping the owl will move on? What would you do? I mean, really? Let's not pretend we're heroes in the dark. You are alone. The police are not coming. The concept of a police force is a distant, almost laughable memory. You are your own first and last line of defense. And your only weapon is the lock on your door. A piece of metal that signifies a promise from a world that is now extinct. Then a knock. 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 It's not a frantic, desperate banging. It's a polite, measured sound. The kind of knock a visitor makes. The civility of it is the most violent thing you have ever experienced. It is a mockery of the old world. It's a predator playing with its food. You stay silent. Your heart is a drum against your ribs. A voice comes through the door, and the blood in your veins turns to ice because, you know, the voice, hey, it says casually, it's Mark from 7B. Mark, the guy you make small talk with in the elevator. The one with the friendly dog, the one who asked to borrow a cup of sugar last month. Listen, he continues, his voice still unnervingly friendly. We're just checking on everyone, making sure everyone's okay. We're getting a little low on water. Saw your lights were out. You got any extra bottles you can spare? You look across your dark living room. On the kitchen counter sits 6 bottles of spring water, your entire supply. A 3-day fortune. He's not asking, he's probing. He's asking a question to which the answer doesn't matter. He's trying to see if you are a collaborator or an obstacle. The silence is your only answer. A long, damning silence. The friendly tone in his voice vanishes. It doesn't become angry. It becomes cold, empty. We know you're in there, Mark says. His voice is flat now, all pretense gone. We can hear you breathing. We can hear you breathing. The words don't hang in the air. They puncture it. They pass through the wood of the door and find a home deep inside your skull. It's a statement of fact, a simple observation that rearranges the entire universe. It means you are no longer a person. You are a prey. For a heartbeat, your brain refuses to process it. This is Mark. Mark who waters his plants on the balcony. Mark who holds the elevator door. The human mind is a stubborn thing. It clings to the familiar, to the patterns of the old world, even as the new one is breaking down the door. Then the doorknob rattles. It's a soft, exploratory sound at first. A metallic question, a test. The gentle jiggle gives way to a hard, violent twist. The mechanism inside the door groans, a sound of metal under stress that it was never designed to endure. And just like that, the paralysis shatters. Adrenaline, cold and sharp, floods your system. It's a brutal, clarifying chemical. There is no more room for disbelief. There is only the door and the thing on the other side of it. Your eyes dart around the darkroom, a frantic inventory of your life, reevaluating every object, not for its sentimental or monetary value, but for its potential as a weapon. The heavy glass lamp on the end table, too awkward. The steak knives in the kitchen block. Maybe, but that would mean getting close, too close. The door creaks, a deep, guttural sound from the wood of the frame itself. He's putting his shoulder into it now. A dull, rhythmic thudding begins thump, thump, thump. Each impact is a shock wave you feel in the soles of your feet. You have to do something. You can't just stand here and wait for the lock to fail. Your gaze lands on the heaviest object in the room, the bookshelf. It's filled with the weight of stories from another lifetime, another world. Without another thought, you are moving. Your hands clumsy with fear, find its edge. You push. It scrapes against the floor with a sound like a scream, a raw, grating protest that announces your presence, your defiance to the entire building. It's the loudest sound you have ever made. Funny, isn't it? You spend your whole life trying to be a quiet, considerate neighbor, and your last significant act on this earth might be to scratch the hell out of the hardwood floors. The thudding on the door stops. The silence that follows is different. It's listening. They heard you. They know you're fighting back. You push again, grunting with the effort, your muscles screaming. The bookshelf moves another foot. You angle it, trying to wedge it against the door, against the wall. You add a heavy armchair, a coffee table. You are building a pathetic, desperate fortress out of your own furniture. It's not a barrier, it's a prayer made of plywood and upholstery. A new sound begins from the hallway, a sharp, metallic scraping against the lock. He's given up on brute force. He has to a cold, methodical screech of metal on metal. Then a piece of the door jamb splinters and falls to the floor on your side. You can see it in the thin sliver of light from the hallway, a tiny triangle of white painted wood. It's a message. I am taking your home apart, piece by piece. You back away from the door, retreating into the deeper darkness of your apartment. You finally grab a knife from the kitchen. It feels alien in your hand, absurdly small. You hold it out in front of you, a useless silver talisman against the coming tide. What does a person like you do with a knife? You, who uses it to chop vegetables? You, who worries about the blade being too dull? You are a creature of a soft and civilized age, confronting an ancient reality with a modern kitchen utensil. Crat! The sound is not from the lock. It's from the center of the door itself. A loud, sharp report, like a bone snapping. A vertical line of fracture appears in the cheap wood of the door panel. Then another crack, louder this time. The line becomes a hole, a splintered, jagged mouth in the center of the door. For a moment, there is nothing, just the hole. A portal between your world and his. Then an eye appears in the opening. It's Mark's eye. It's blue, just like you remember from the elevator. But it's not the same. There is no recognition in it. No memory of shared pleasantries. It is flat, cold, and utterly devoid of anything you would call humanity. It is the eye of a craftsman evaluating the last obstacle before the prize. It looks right at you. It sees your pathetic knife. It sees your trembling hands. And behind the eye you hear his voice again, no longer trying to be friendly, no longer trying to be anything at all. It's a low, simple statement, a promise of what comes next. There you are. Time stops. It breaks apart into a series of frozen, crystalline moments. The eye in the door, the sound of your own blood, a useless, roaring engine in your ears, the weight of the cheap knife in your hand, the absolute certainty that the next few seconds will determine whether you see another sunrise. The eye is a lens, and you are the subject. It is looking past the knife. It is looking at your fear. It is measuring your resolve, and it is not impressed. Then the eye is gone. A hand, reknuckled and dirty, smashes through the fractured wood, splintering the hole wider. It reaches inside, fumbling blindly for the doorknob on your side. This is the moment, the decision, the point of divergence. You can retreat, hide in the bathroom, and wait for the inevitable. Or you can close the distance. You don't even think. The body decides. It is an act of pure animal survival. The knife is forgotten. Your hand drops it with a clatter that seems impossibly loud. You lunge, not for the door, but for the heavy ceramic lamp on the table beside it, the one you bought because the color matched the curtains. Your fingers wrap around its base. You rip it from the table, the cord tearing from the wall socket with a shower of sparks that illuminates the room in a single strobe-like flash. In that flash you see it all. The terrified rictus of your own face in a mirror, the barricade of furniture, the hand inside your home. The door explodes inward. It doesn't swing open. The lock, the hinges, the frame, they all give way at once in a single catastrophic failure. The door, your pathetic barricade of furniture, Mark, and a second person you didn't know was there. All come crashing into your living room in a chaotic wave of wood and Mark is in the lead. He stumbles over the wreckage of your coffee table, his eyes adjusting to the dark, already searching for you. He is a silhouette, but a familiar one. The shape of the man who borrows sugar. He hasn't seen the lamp in your hand. You don't aim. You don't plan. You swing. You swing with the accumulated terror of the last 48 hours. You swing with the primal, reptilian fury of a cornered animal. The lamp is heavy, awkward. It feels less like a weapon and more like a rock on the end of a string. It connects. The sound is not something you will ever forget. It is not the clean, cinematic crack you expect. It is a sickening, wet crunch. The sound of something solid and brutal meeting something soft and yielding. The ceramic base of the lamp shatters on impact, and the force of it travels up your arm like an electric shock. Mark makes a noise, a sound of surprise, a short, sharp exhalation of air, like he's had the wind knocked out of him. He collapses, not forward, not backward, but just down. He folds into the darkness and the wreckage, a puppet with its strings cut. The silence that follows is deafening. There is only the sound of your own ragged, panicked breathing. You are standing in the ruins of your home, in the absolute darkness, holding a broken lamp, and a man is on your floor. Have you ever really wondered what he's capable of? Not in a motivational poster kind of way. I mean, have you ever sat in your quiet, comfortable life and honestly considered the line you would not cross? The act of violence you think is beyond you. The terrifying secret of our species is that the line doesn't really exist. It's just a story we tell ourselves when the lights are on. You didn't just cross a line. You discovered it was never there. You are a killer. Or you are a survivor. In this new world, they are the same thing. A floorboard creaks in the darkness near the doorway. The second person. You forgot about the second person. You raise the broken lamp again. Its jagged edges pointed at the sounds. Your voice, when you find it, is a stranger's. A raw, ragged whisper. Get out. You'd expect a fight. A scream. A rush of movement. Instead, you hear footsteps. Not coming toward you, but away. They are calm, unhurried. The second person steps back over the threshold into the hallway. They pause for a moment. You can feel their presence, their gaze on you from the darkness. They are not afraid. They are assessing. Then they speak. A voice you don't recognize. Low and calm, you keep the cans, the voice says. We'll be back for the water. And then they are gone. The sound of their footsteps recedes down the hallway, leaving you alone. Alone in the pitch black. In a home with no door. With the body of your neighbor at your feet. And with the chilling, absolute knowledge that you have not won. You have escalated. You have just announced to the world that you are a person with something worth killing for. And you are trapped inside with the proof. You don't move for a long time. You stand in the absolute dark, a statue carved from adrenaline and terror. Your world has collapsed to the space of this room, and the room itself has collapsed to a single, horrifying fact. The cooling geography of the man at your feet, the adrenaline has abandoned you. It leaves behind a void, a hollowed out space in your chest filled with a vibrating, sickening hum. Shock. Your hands tremble, not with fear anymore, but with the sheer neurological overload of what they have just done. Then a new sense comes online. Smell. In the still, dead air of the apartment, the scent begins to rise. It's faint at first, a coppery, metallic temps that cuts through the dusty smell of old books and broken furniture. It's the smell of a leaking battery, the smell of a butcher shop, the smell of life leaving the vessel. It will not get better. This is the next visceral reality. This is the part they don't show you. The problem of the body. It's not a symbol. It's not a moral dilemma. Not yet. Right now, it is a logistical crisis. A piece of organic matter in your living space that is beginning a very predictable process of decay. You have to move it. Where? Where do you put a body in a sealed apartment building in the middle of a citywide blackoochy? You can't leave it there. The voice in the hallway promised they would be back. They will see him. they all know. Have you ever wondered about the sheer, inconvenient physics of death? The dead weight of a human body is a cliche for a reason. It is a stubborn, uncooperative must. It has no interest in helping you. You take a breath, the metallic taste of the air coating your tongue. You crouch in the dark, your hands searching, and you find his collar. The fabric is wet. You try not to think about it. You pull. He is heavier than you could have possibly imagined. The sound is a wet, dragging scrape of fabric against the floorboards. Every inch is a monumental effort. Your back screams. Your muscles, still buzzing with phantom energy, burn with a weak, trembling fire. You are dragging your neighbor. You are dragging Mark. The name is a useless piece of data from a dead world, but it echoes in your skull with every pull. Mark, Mark, Mark the bedroom. It's the only place with a door you can close. It feels impossibly far. A journey of 1,000 miles, each one a universe of horror. You get him to the doorway, a clumsy, tangled heap of limbs. You heave him over the threshold. The effort makes you gag, a dry, acidic wretch. You close the bedroom door. You stand in the living room, in the dark, listening to your own ragged breaths. For a moment, a fraction of a second, there is a sense of accomplishment. A problem has been contained. Then the new thought arrives, cold and sharp as a shard of glass. We'll be back for the water. Your eyes are drawn to the kitchen counter, to the 6 plastic bottles. They are no longer a resource. They are a beacon. Aluri, they are the reason this happened. They are the reason it will happen again. You have a choice. A terrible, simple choice. You can keep the water, your only guarantee of survival for the next few days, and wait for them. You can barricade the broken doorway, arm yourself with your pathetic knife, and wait for a battle you know you cannot win. Or you can get rid of it. You can pour your life, your future, down the drain of a dead plumbing system. You can surrender your most valuable asset in the hope that it makes you a less valuable target. It's an insane calculation, isn't it? To willingly destroy the very thing you need to live in order to live. It is the logic of this new world, a logic of subtraction, a logic of fear. And what if it doesn't work? What if they come back anyway for the cans, for the shelter, for the simple, brutal satisfaction of finishing what they started? You are trapped. The broken doorway of your apartment is an open wound. The body in your bedroom is a secret that has a time limit. The water on your counter is a magnet for violence. Every part of your reality has become a component in a machine designed to kill you. You stand there in the silence, and you become aware of a new sound. It's not from the hallway, it's from outside. It's a dog, a single dog, barking somewhere in the city. It is a lonely, desolate sound. Then another dog answers it from farther away. Then another and another. Soon, the entire dark, silent city is filled with the sound of 1,000 barking dogs, a great echoing chorus of lost and desperate animals calling out into the endless night for masters who will never come. And you realize you are no different. You are just another animal, barking in the dark, trapped in a cage of your own making. And the smell from under the bedroom door is getting stronger. The dogs eventually fall silent, one by one, succumbing to exhaustion or something worse. The city settles back into its profound, dead quiet. But for you, there is no silence. There is only the roaring in your ears, the frantic thumping of your own heart, and a new, insistent, rising torment, thirst. It starts as a simple dryness, a pasty feeling on your tongue, an inconvenience, but in the absence of any other distraction, in the total darkness of your self-imposed prison, it grows. It becomes a presence, a living thing inside you. Your mouth is a desert. Your tongue feels thick and heavy, a useless piece of leather. Every time you swallow, it's a rasping, painful effort, a scrape of dry surface. A dull, rhythmic ache begins to pulse behind your eyes. Your body, the machine you have taken for granted your entire life, is sending you a clear, unambiguous message, a threat. It is beginning to consume itself to survive. We are, after all, just complex plumbing. Bugs of water animated by electricity and instinct, and your bag is running low. The memory of the 6 bottles on the counter is a physical torture. You can see them in your mind's eye with a clarity that is almost supernatural. The curve of the plastic, the way the faint light from the hallway might catch on the condensation, the little beads of moisture. You can almost feel the impossible, shocking cold of the water as it would touch your lips. To drink is to die. To not drink is to die. This is the new math. The brutal, simple arithmetic of survival. The voice from the hallway promised they would be back for the water. If they return and the water is gone, what do you think happens then? They will not leave empty-handed. They will take something else. They will take it from you. So you wait. You sit in the dark, on the floor, leaning against the wall, and you enter into a negotiation with your own biology. You tell yourself it's not so bad. You tell yourself you can last. You try to think of other things, but every thought, every memory, every fear is now filtered through the growing, desperate, singular need for a single drop of water. The open doorway is a gaping mouth, breathing the stale, dead air of the building. Every few minutes, a sound drifts in from the hallway, a distant crash, a single, sharp scream, the sound of someone sobbing 2 floors down. These sounds are no longer just terrifying. They are information, they are data points on the graph of the city's collapse. But more than that, they are a constant, nerve-shredding source of paranoia. Is that them? Is that the sound of their footsteps coming back for you? You find yourself holding your breath, listening until your lungs burn, mistaking the sound of your own blood for an approaching threat. The smell from the bedroom is changing. It has moved past that initial metallic scent and is evolving into something else. Something sweeter, heavier, more organic. It is the smell of things breaking down, of complex structures becoming simple. It seeps through the cracks in the door. It is a constant, suffocating reminder of what you have done. It is the ghost, not of Mark, but of the price you paid to survive the last hour, a price that may have already bankrupted your future. You can't take it anymore. The thirst is a fire in your throat. The headache is a hammer against your skull. You will not die cowering in the dark, waiting for your own body to betray you. You will die on your feet, or you will have a drink of water. You crawl. On your hands and knees, like the first animal crawling out of the sea, you make your way toward the kitchen. The floor is a minefield of debris. Your hand brushes against something sticky and wet. You don't let yourself think about what it is. Your fingers find the cool, smooth plastic of a bottle. You lift it. It feels impossibly heavy. A treasure, a grail. You unscrew the cap. The sound is a tiny, obscene crackle in the dead silence. You raise the bottle to your lips. You tell yourself, just one sip. Just enough to wet your tongue. The water touches your mouth. It is the most glorious, life-affirming, transcendent sensation you have ever known. It is not just water. It is salvation. It is reason. It is the universe itself reminding you that you are alive. You swallow. The relief is immediate. A wave of cool, impossible bliss that washes down your throat, extinguishing the fire. You allow yourself one more sip. A small one. You are a miser, counting your coins. You screw the cap back on. The silence of the apartment rushes back in, but it's different now. The thirst is gone, replaced by the sharp, cold clarity of a single, terrible thought. The bottle crackled when you opened it. A tiny plastic thunderclap. How far does a sound like that travel in a world this quiet? The sound of the plastic cap is a gunshot in a library. Betrayal. A tiny, insignificant noise that has just broadcast your location, your desperation, and your lie to the entire silent world. You are a bell, and you have just been rung. You freeze, the bottle still in your hand. The life-giving water you just drank turns to acid in your stomach. It was a mistake, a fatal, stupid, animal mistake. Every instinct screams at you to undo it. to put the sound back in the bottle, but you can only sit there, pinned by the echo of your own weakness. How long do you have? Seconds. Minutes. This is the purest form of psychological horror. Not the monster at the door, but the certain knowledge that the monster is coming, and you are the one who invited it. Your own body, your own thirst, has conspired against you. You crawl as silently as you can back from the kitchen, retreating into the deepest shadows of the ruined living room. You wedge yourself into the corner, trying to make yourself small, a part of the architecture. You are an animal, hiding in its burrow, listening to the footsteps of the farmer. The minutes stretch into an eternity. Each one is a lifetime of listening. The building remains quiet. The city is attuned. Maybe they didn't hear, maybe the sound was too small, too contained. Let's be honest with ourselves. Hope is a fossil from a different geological age. It has no place here. You are not lucky. You are not special. You are just the next house on the list. Then you see it, a light, not in your apartment. It's outside, across the street. A single, powerful, focused beam, like a searchlight, cutting through the absolute blackness. It moves slowly, methodically, sweeping across the face of your building. It is not a rescue. It is a hunt. It climbs floor by floor, an invisible predator, using the light as a probe. It illuminates one window, pauses, and moves on. Then the next, it is reading the building, searching for signs of life, for weakness. You understand now. They didn't need to hear the bottle. They were always coming back. They are just being systematic. The beam reaches your floor. It sweeps past your neighbor's window, and then it finds the gaping, shattered maw of your doorway. The light floods into your hallway, a brilliant, sterile white that seems to bleach the very air. It doesn't enter your living room, but this spill is enough to throw the wreckage of your home into a landscape of stark, monstrous shadows. You press yourself harder into the corner, trying to melt into the wall. You are completely exposed. The darkness was your only shield, and it has just been torn away. The beam of light holds on your doorway for a long, agonizing moment. It is an unblinking eye, and it is looking directly at your failure, at the broken lock and splintered wood. It knows. Then the light clicks off. You are plunged back into total, absolute darkness. But the darkness is different now. It is not empty. It's pregnant. It's the moment after the lightning flash, when the image of the world is still burned onto your retinas, and you know the thunder is coming. A soft scuff of a shoe in the hallway, another closer. They move with a quiet confidence you cannot comprehend. They are not fumbling. They are not afraid of the dark. The dark is their ally. A silhouette appears in the broken doorway. It's taller than Mark's, leaner. The second person. They don't enter. They just stand there, a pillar of black against the slightly less black of the hallway. They're listening, smelling, sensing. You drank some, the voice says. Same calm, low voice from before. It's not a question, it's a statement of inventory. It's okay, the voice continues, taking a single, slow step into your home. Thirst is a motivator. I get it. You hold the useless knife in your hand. Your knuckles are white. It is a child's toy. The silhouette takes another step. We have a problem. You and I, my partner was sentimental. He saw things in terms of what he could take. I see things in terms of what is useful. You can hear them breathing now. A slow, steady rhythm, the breathing of a person completely in control. You're a survivor, the voice says, and it's the most terrifying thing you have ever heard. You did what was necessary. That's rare. That's useful. The silhouette stops. It is only a few feet away from you now. You can feel the heat of its body in the cold air, so I'm going to offer you a choice. Because I'm a businessman, not a thief. You have something I need. Not the water, not the cans. You have this apartment, a defensible position, high up, with a loyal occupant who has proven they can hold it. They pause, letting the words sink into the toxic air between you. So here's the offer. You can come with me, and we can acquire more positions like this one. Or you can stay here and guard this one for me. You keep a percentage of the supplies we bring. A small one, but you get to live. You say nothing. You can't. Your tongue is a stone. There is, of course, a third option, but it ends with me owning this apartment anyway. The voice gestures vaguely toward the bedroom door. You have 2 doors in front of you now. The one he's behind, or the one I'm standing in. You have 10 seconds to decide which one you're going to walk through. 10 seconds. The number is absurd. You don't measure a life, a soul, a future in seconds, but he does. This is the brutal efficiency of the new world. Your entire existence is being condensed into a 10-second transaction. 90. Your mind is a vortex. You see 2 doors, just as he said. One is the broken threshold to the hallway, the path he offers. It leads out into the darkness, into a world of hunting and acquisition. It is the door to becoming him. The other is the bedroom door. Behind it lies Mark. Behind it lies the man you were yesterday. The person who would have been horrified by the body, not terrified of its logistical inconvenience. That door leads to the past. A past that is already beginning to rot. 8. What is the choice? Really? It's not about life or death. That's a luxury. This is a choice of management styles. Do you want to be the wolf, or do you want to be the dog that guards the wolf's kennel? Property or proprietor? The smell from under the bedroom door seems to intensify, as if reminding you. This is the price of hesitation. This is the cost of acting alone. 7. You think of the world before, the world of digital transactions, of social contracts written in code and enforced by invisible systems. We were all cogs in a machine, but we pretended we were the operators. We had the illusion of choice. We chose our careers, our partners, our brands of coffee. We believed we were free. He is offering you the same deal, just with the illusions stripped away. He is offering you a job, a performance review, a clearly defined role in a new corporate structure. 6. A chilling, crystalline thought cuts through the panic. He's not a monster. Monsters are irrational. He is the most rational human being you have ever met. He is a system builder and entrepreneur. He saw the collapse not as a disaster, but as a market opportunity, a power vacuum. And what does every entrepreneur need? Assets and personnel. He's not here to kill you. He's here to recruit you. Killing you is inefficient. It means he has to secure the asset himself. He has to find another person. It's a waste of time and resources. 5. This realization doesn't bring comfort. It brings a deeper, colder tehol. You are not a victim in a horror story. You are a candidate in a job interview from hell, and your resume is the body in the next room. Let's stop pretending. You listening to this in your comfortable chair, in your safe home, you think you would choose the third option. You think you would choose defiance. Death before dishonor. Would you really, when your throat is cracked with thirst and the things in the dark are this calm, this reasonable, when the only other option is to be a piece of meat? The lies we tell ourselves in the light are the first casualties of the dark. For you are not the person you were 3 days ago. That person is a ghost. That person died the moment you picked up the lamp. You are now something else, something forged in darkness and silence. You have one advantage. Only one. He thinks you are a resource to be managed. He doesn't realize you are a competitor. 3. You get to your feet. The movement is slow, deliberate, not the frantic scramble of prey. It is the unfolding of a thing that has made a decision. The knife is still in your hand, but you are not holding it like a weapon. You are holding it like a pen, like an instrument for signing a contract. The silhouette in the doorway shifts its weight. It senses the change to... You take a step forward toward him, not in surrender, but in negotiation. You stop just out of his reach. The air between you is electric. Your voice is a rasp, a sound of rust and ruin. But it is steady. The terms are unacceptable. You say, 1. The word hangs in the air. A final, dead clock chime. The silhouette does not move, does not attack. It waits. This is my asset now. You continue, your voice gaining a strength you didn't know it had. I acquired it. You want it you work for me. You are the supply line. You bring the resources. I hold the territory. You get 10% of what you bring. That is my offer. Silence. A deep, profound silence that stretches for an entire lifetime. You are standing in the ruins of your life, negotiating the terms of your damnation with a ghost, and the only proof that you ever existed is the smell of your first kill seeping from under the bedroom door. Then, from the darkness of the silhouette, a sound, a low, soft chuckle. It is the sound of a deal being struck, the sound of a new world being born, not in the halls of government, but in 1,000 dark rooms, between two people who have discovered the oldest, simplest, most brutal truth of all. Civilization was never a place, it was just a set of rules. And the lights are still out,